hi, this is Leah. Sorry for the delay. I was on another call. Yeah.
Yeah, great that you're able to join the call. You're just dialed in on the phone?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. We can just chat. I actually wanted to show you Rainforest, so if you can join the GoToMeeting link, I could share screens with you. But if not,
Hmm.
that's fine. We can just talk for a little bit and figure out if there's a fit.
You know what? That's a great idea. Let me do it right now.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Hold on one second.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I see your presentation. Can I maybe hang up or?
Uh, you can keep it if you hang up. Do you have computer audio, or you can use audio from here, and I can screen share on the lap on your
Okay.
computer.
Okay. I can actually hear you. Yeah, I use my computer. Yeah. Let
Okay.
me hang up right now. Okay. Hello?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well,
Perfect.
very
That's
excited to finally get this started.
yeah, sorry, I was out in a conference for like 4 days. I thought I could made it during lunch break, but it's so packed.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
you guys are where are you located?
Blue Ridge, Illinois.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so it's Central Time. It's a little bit after lunch right now for you.
Yeah, yeah. I took an early lunch, so we're ready to go.
Okay. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate you taking the time out and taking a look at Rainforest. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what I thought we could do today is I'm here to help answer any questions and introduce you to Rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
And also would love to, understand why you reached out and love to understand more about Easy Healthcare.
Oh,
To yeah.
mm-hmm. Okay,
Uh,
I'll give you a little background information here. We're going to launch a fertility tracking app around August, I guess, and now we're looking for QA testing team before we launch, or maybe even after we launch the app. And this is the first like mobile like app we develop in-house, so we're not that like familiar with the QA testing process. So I would like to know, so when should we bring in the team, or we're already like too late? You know what I mean?
right, right,
There's some
right.
brief information. There's a fertility tracking app, and but we have a hardware like Bluetooth thermometer to hook up
Mhm.
with. So that's
Okay.
pretty much it. Yeah.
Is it both for Android and iOS?
Correct.
Okay. And it's launching in August. Okay. Where in the stages are you? Are most of the like in terms of the software, is it like where would you say are you like 80% done, 90% done?
I'll say like over half, but you know what? Let me double check.
Okay.
Let's see，我们的那个 app develop 到什么阶段了？就是大概 50% down，有吗？30。OK，谢谢。Hello.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's about like the initial development is like 30% done.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
still have a long way.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we
Yeah.
just got an initial like test. They just wireframed it. Yeah.
Okay. And I heard you speaking Chinese too. I speak a little
Oh,
bit actually, but
oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah.
我是这边长大的，不过是中国
Oh,
出生的，
okay. Yeah, where?
福州，
Oh,
福建。
oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
Yeah. But English is probably better.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. But I'm
Yeah.
surprised. Yeah, I saw your picture. Well, I guess it's like
Mhm.
I thought you're like Asian, but sometimes you never know if they.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you came in, so our last names. Or it's the
Yeah,
same time.
then yeah,
So we're like,
for sure.
is it your cousin that came in? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, totally. So that's why
That's actually
this call.
funny. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So okay, you're developing. So going back, so about a little bit less than 50% done. You're wanting to launch in August, and you're currently unsure about how to do QA. You've never done QA before. And how did you find this then? Were you just looking online for different?
I just looking online. If I'm right, you guys local? Like
No,
based in Chicago? You guys are not?
we're in San Francisco.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. What I'm talking about. Most of the, startups are in San Francisco. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah. So because so okay, never mind. I just Googled like a couple, like a QA testing and app testing companies, and I just found you guys. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What I could do is I can intro you to like because you guys are very early and you're kind of unclear what to do. I can give you like instead of our regular presentation, I think it
Okay.
would be good to give you just talk you over the overall like
Mm-hmm.
QA landscape, right? And how you can think about QA because
Okay.
it's
Awesome.
we do something like specifically very different and
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be relevant for what you're testing on. So let me share my screen right now. Can you
Okay.
see it?
Yeah.
Rainforest QA, the slide?
Mhm.
Okay. Just curious also, how many team members do you have building out this app?
Maybe like five developers. How
Uh-huh.
many developers do we have? Let's see. Development team. Five, 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay. And are you doing any QA testing on the website too, like healthcaremanager.com?
Not really, not yet. And but we're actually pretty much we're doing that in-house, including actually the app, and we got a couple different phones. Like we're kind of doing the initial like very basic like QA testing in-house right now. Plus our development team is in China,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's
Yep.
probably doing there cheaper, but I'm not sure. So.
Yep. Yep. Also on the app, just curious, what is it? So it's connected to a hardware device. The hardware device, the mother or whatever, I guess she will wear or she'll use it, and then it tracks with the software. The software is in iOS or Android. Are you using like pictures to track the in the app, or what functionalities um,
Mm,
besides the hardware device? What are
I
other
see.
functionalities? Can you tell
Okay,
me about?
so the hardware, the device is like a basal thermometer. So it's like
Mhm.
data, pretty much, your temperature. And they sync to the app and to track the ovulation. I mean, I'm not sure how familiar you are within this fertility industry, but and we do have a picture, like photo capture, like function and to let them to record their ovulation test results as well. So technically, you can use the app with or without this thermometer.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah, because it's based on a couple different factors when we actually predict like a woman's ovulation date.
Yep, gotcha. We
Yeah,
actually do work with a startup out here in San Francisco. It's called Eva Fertility.
Eva, I've
Yeah,
heard of them. Yeah.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
What do
And
you guys
sort of
do for them? QA
it's
testing?
QS, yeah, software QA. We mainly do
I
it on
see.
their web, right? Web and so I don't work with the team, but I know that we work with them, and we do essentially software QA for them.
Software queue. So their website.
Yep, yep.
Oh, okay.
The web, and their mobile as well.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's
So
that's good. Mhm.
let me
Mhm.
share with you what we do,
Mhm.
and where we're coming in, and how we fit in. So specifically, I think these slides probably, I think they won't make sense because where you're at. But let me give you like an overall landscape of what rainforest is and how it fits into the QA space, right?
Mhm.
So if you were think about development, so this is good for you to build out an MVP. When do you test? When do you should think about doing things? This is how you should think about it, right? So you build out the minimum viable product, And here you're doing a lot of ad hoc testing, a lot of unit testing for your product. So for hardware and both for software, right?
Mhm.
Once you build a MVP, that's when you bring in testing. And this process is very iterative, right? It goes back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes it takes very long, but really it's iterative. It's very slow pace, right? Here is when you would bring in more of the usability testing, regression testing, which is essentially you test out things that you have built previously. So when the engineers build new things, does it actually break old things? So you
Mm.
bring in all these new testing in this process. Finally, when this is done, it becomes generally available, and that's when you would think about automating your tests. So
Mhm.
actually creating computer programs to do QA testing for you, right? So that you don't have
Mm.
to actually have people do it. So this whole process is how you should think about QA. Within this QA space, from test, production, like this area, there's a lot of players, there's a lot of solutions. So we are a crowdsourcing solution, meaning we leverage crowds from all over the world to do testing, to do manual testing.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of models inside here. There's also automation testing. There's also folks that are just focused on mobile testing. There are people that are focused on hardware, and there's, across the board, right? And also, I'm gonna record this call so you can use it later as one.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
But where we fit in specifically is we use crowdsourcing on top of machine learning to do software testing. So we don't actually do any hardware testing.
Mhm.
Just do testing on software, so on web and on mobile, right? And so
Mhm.
how we're different, you can think of us as we have a crowdsourced model. We have
Mhm.
underneath, we have crowdsourcing, but the crowdsourced testers are actually leveraging our own devices that we built for them.
I see.
So what this means is, for example, you probably have bought real devices, real Android phones and real iPhones in-house for you to test on, right? I imagine as you expand, those maintaining those and then buying extra phones, it's going to get very costly and very complicated. Maintenance is going to be very complicated, especially if you want to get a lot of testers on it. So our
Mhm.
advantage is we actually built out simulators, or another way to say it is emulators online that
Mhm.
simulate these phones so that you don't actually have to manage or you don't actually have to buy these phones, right? We
Mhm.
give these emulators to our testers. So these
Mhm.
emulators would be iPhone 6 emulators, iPhone 7 emulators, Android simulators, right? We give
Mhm.
these to them, and because they're computer programs, they don't actually have to buy it. So they use these uh, testing programs then to test your product, to test your software.
Okay,
Right?
here comes my first question.
Yep.
The emulators, I've heard of that. The term like do the softwares, and you kind of have all the platforms and environments you created, and so you can do the testing without like actually buying a phone.
Mhm.
But for you, this is for software functionality test. But what my question is, what if we have some UI? Design problems. So is that possible to test it out without actually using a phone as well?
Yes, it is because everything that the emulators
Mm-hmm.
we copy, it's exactly like the phone, and I can show you how it looks like inside the software. But it's exactly whatever you can do on a phone, you can do on an
Mm-hmm.
emulator, except
Okay.
take pictures. Except take pictures because it's there's no pictures to take, right? You can
Yeah.
access the internal photos, but number one, you can't take pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's about it. Everything else you can do, it's exactly like a real phone.
Okay. Here's another question, and it's like taking actually the picture capture functionality, this feature is like one of our selling points, because like this if this works well, it means a lot to us, because I'm not sure if you're familiar with that or not, because like if you want to detect your ovulation, you need ovulation strips and lined up from like your cycle day, however, maybe three, like whenever till like like 20, you have to take ovulation tests every day and you have to record it and you have to line up to compare when is your LH surge and when is most likely you are gonna ovulate. So this is like for our TTC like audience is a very, very important feature. So we really do want to make sure there's a way to test this out and to make sure it works like flawless.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
do you have any suggestions? Like, I'm pretty sure we're not the only, potential clients and have
Yeah.
that kind of like picture capture feature when we want to test it out, do the QA
Right.
testing, right?
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
in that case, there are other players. So we don't actually do that. And
Mm.
I can recommend you other people that can help you do
Like a,
specifically.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what
Yeah,
they
is
do
there like a,
differently
mm-hmm.
is they use real devices.
There's like a team in India. Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Essentially.
yeah. So yeah, actually, my boyfriend recommended that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they have people like work like maybe 30 hours and nonstop testing and record videos and that kind of thing.
Yep. They
Yeah.
do
Okay.
that, and there's advantages and disadvantages to that, right? The
Uh-huh.
reason why we do this exactly in virtual machines and not real devices is we actually can get a lot of interesting things. For
Okay.
example, because they're testing on our virtual machines, we record all of these virtual machines, number one,
Mhm.
right? Number two, we're gathering data on these testers inside of our virtual machine. So everything they're doing, we're gathering the data for. Number three,
Mhm.
because their virtual machines are computer programs, they can use it anytime, anywhere, and the results are very
Mhm.
quick. So
Mhm.
if you go to like an India team, they'll probably return results in about a week,
Mhm.
and they'll get videos, but it's slower, number one, and then the bugs they find might not be reproducible. You actually don't know how they actually get it. They might make videos, but it's going to be very complicated.
I see.
Versus for us, very quick. So our turnaround time is around 30 minutes, right? So from the
Mm.
time you say test to the time when we get the results back, it's like 30 minutes, no matter how big or small your test case is, or
I see.
how much you want to test across.
So,
Um,
okay. Mhm.
and because we're recording everything, we're gathering all the data, we give you actually technical logs, which they cannot give you, which is technical logs are actually like if you go inside like the application, what actually happens within the program when
Mhm.
you found the bug or when you didn't find a bug. And I can show you how that actually looks like in the software.
Okay.
So those are the advantages and disadvantages you can think about. And I'll uh, give you like a layout of like how you should think about it. So on one end, it's speed, right? It's
Mhm.
being able to reproduce things, and then it's quality. And so that's where we're like, we're the reason why we created Rainforest specifically as a software is to help like these three issues, right? So
Okay.
slow speed, poor quality, and operational pains, meaning managing. Because if you
Okay.
get a outsource group, you still have to manage them, and it could get complicated, especially if there's like language issues and everything like that. We're a software, so
Mhm.
it's like it's kind of like Uber, right? Where you say, I need this tested, you click a button, it's tested, and then it's returned.
I
So
see.
it's very quickly.
That makes sense actually. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
So how it actually works is this is how it works. You write a
Mhm.
test. So you write test in simple English language, right?
Mhm.
So you just tell testers, say, I want to test this. This is my results. So you write all of those things out. We then
Mhm.
send the test to our testers. So we have about 50,000 testers worldwide. And we
Mhm.
send multiple testers to your test. So they're performing your test in parallel. Instead of like steps one, two, three, four, we're performing steps one, performing steps two, performing steps three, all at the same time because we have so many testers,
Okay, so
right?
hold on one second. Right, I'm a little bit confused right here.
Yep,
So when you guys send out to your testers, you guys have like a huge like team worldwide, like a
yep,
15,000 as you said testers. So are they like using your software to test our app, right? So
yep.
they're doing that nonstop. And why do you need that many?
So we have a lot of clients, number one,
Oh,
and
I see.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and
Mhm.
every single test case we send multiple testers to.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually, at any time, like, in 24 hours, you can go on a website, you can check. There's about 2 or 3 thousand testers that are working at all time. We have actually a little ticker box, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we work with little small clients, we work with a lot of big clients, and they do a lot of testing. So sometimes for tests like big test suites, meaning a lot of tests, for big
Mm-hmm.
applications, we send like close to 1,000 people sometimes to their environment to do testing, right?
I see.
And and these testers are essentially, think of it as contractors, like if you were ordering like a Uber car ride or a Lyft car ride, these are just essentially people that are ready to do the
Yeah,
testing, right?
I
They're ready.
understand that. It's just
Yeah.
like some company they need data. They have data collectors, the contractors. It's the same
Yep.
thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Exactly.
So
And
let's keep going. Yeah.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
once they finish the test, we then validate the results. So that's the most, I think, if you were to say, hey, what's the secret behind you guys? It's this point actually here, our
Mm-hmm.
data results, because testers, they can perform the actions, but actually, how do you know that they're actually performing the right actions? How do you manage them? How do you ensure that the information they are bringing back is actually good information? Did they actually perform what they needed to perform? And so, because we use machine learning essentially to gather the information inside of our emulators, we're able to analyze all the actions they perform. So, for example, every scroll, every click, and then based on our past data, we have about 5 years of data, like 100 million tests that I've run. We can compare that to our data and say, hey, this tester who's been with us for 3 years, who have this reputation, when they perform this test, did they actually follow these directions?
I
And
see.
because we're sending multiple testers to perform the same test, we can say, compared across these 3 people, when you ask them to click a certain point, did they actually click it? So we're
Mm-hmm.
using basically computers to manage, to help figure out if they're doing what they're doing.
I see. So I
Yep.
have a question here. Since you have you guys have a huge database, you said 5 years over 1 million tests and you run, and this might be like comes to the next question. Are those like clients I like continuously like provide like data or require like tests from you guys after they launch the app, or it's just like a short period of time and you get data before an app launch?
So it's continuous. When we run the
Continuous.
first test, it's
Hmm.
continuously going, and you basically get reward. You basically get the advantage from all of our other clients, because
Hmm.
we've gone through their tests, we've gone through their mobile applications, and we understand when you ask them to log in, what does it actually look like from a computer's point of view, right? And then we have humans just prove that out with their execution of the test.
Okay, so I have another question here. And what is the app testing cycle per client? Or you guys have like a multiple like a different package options, or normally what's your clients do? Like for example, like a year or 2 year contract, and what is the cycle?
Yep. Usually the cycle is it's our minimum is 1 year. It's 1 year
Mm-hmm.
contracts,
Mm-hmm.
and so they do these clients. So I'll show you like a example of our clients. So these are
Mm-hmm.
like some of our clients. So we have like big
Mm-hmm.
enterprise clients like Adobe, Intuit. We also have small startups, and we also work with government agencies.
All right. All right.
Typically,
Cool.
how we work with these is they sign a contract, and then every month they will do certain amount of testing, because they're
Mm-hmm.
continuously developing products, they're continuing to build these products. It makes sense for them to
Okay.
sort of have this amount of testing.
Mm-hmm.
Things like NPR, which is like National Public Radio, the website, they need to maintain their website. So, for example, they need to every like week they'll do a complete regression testing of their website. So every single function on their website, they do a test to make sure that nothing is broken,
So
right?
those are the websites you're
Yep.
talking about.
These
So
are
how about
websites,
apps?
apps. It's the same idea. Uh,
What kind
it's
of
the same.
clients have you guys worked with? That's like, can you give me a list of that as well? Or case
I don't have that.
studies?
Yeah, I don't have that here, but I can send you a case study afterwards.
Mm, that would be
With
great.
this,
Yeah.
yeah, with some mobile clients.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. They essentially create. So if you think about it from a developer's point of view, for a lot of these high growth startups and these smaller teams, what they do is they build a mobile app, and
Mm-hmm.
then if it's successful, they don't just stop, right? They have to
Yeah.
continue building it. They have to continue maintaining it.
Yep.
And so that's why they continue have to do QA testing
Mm-hmm.
on new features, number one, and also old features, because if they build in sometimes new features, old stuff, it breaks the old features, right?
Okay.
So they
So
have to continue to do that.
I see. So like what I see from this slides and your clients are those are the big guys. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I wonder what is the percentage of like startups or like a company like us. We're like kind of like new in the app development and of the clientele base do you have you've worked with
I
the
would say
percentage?
30%. Well, we put our big clients here because it's, it looks
I
good, right?
know. It
Obviously,
looks good. Yeah.
right? But I think about 35 to 40% of our clients
Uh-huh.
are actually small companies because they actually
Okay.
don't know how to do QA, right? And so
Okay.
they come to us and we essentially just take care of QA for them. And
Mm-hmm.
these small companies are around 25 to 50 people. Companies, tech companies, a lot of them in the San Francisco area.
Yeah,
And
I believe
so,
so.
yep.
Mhm.
And so they use us because they know, number one, how hard QA is, or they've
Mhm.
tried different solutions, they tried outsourcing, they tried different solutions, and it's number one, really, really slow or whatever. And they're like, hey, we see this new technology and we want to leverage it. So most of our new clients, I would say, are smaller startups because they're more open to newer technology, number one, and
Mhm.
they realize the need, right? For these big companies,
Mhm.
sometimes they have like hundreds of people already doing QA for them. So
Mm.
we have like a specific team that we're working on. Usually they're like, oh, you have a new technology, let me try you guys out for a year, 2 years, and then if it's really awesome, maybe we'll replace our whole like 1,000 people team, right?
Mm.
So usually like that. And so we replace like some of these big companies, their entire departments, but others, these big companies move really slowly, right? Government
Mhm.
move really slowly. So it's a smaller chunk of our customers, but they pay a lot more, right? Obviously.
Yeah,
In
obviously.
terms,
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of numbers, like I would say, yeah, 40% of our actually clients in terms of numbers actually comes from smaller
It's
startups. Yeah.
oh, okay. I see. That makes
Yep.
sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Let me do this. Let me show you the software, and so you can get a sense of actually how it like looks, how it works. Let me go to this page. Can you see my screen right now on the software,
Yeah.
green border on top? So this is actually how the software looks like. Essentially, all you need to do to get started is you need to just set up. Actually, let me switch accounts. This is the demo account. Let me switch to our own internal account.
Mhm.
So this is what we use to test ourselves. So we use Rainforest to test our own software, right? So
Mhm.
the first thing you would do is you would configure an environment. So you have an app, you have a website. If you have a website, you just add the website here. So www.healthcaremanager.com. Or if you have an app, you just give us a copy of the app. So like how you would upload APK file or app file, you just put it inside here, and
Mhm.
then you're ready. We're ready to test it. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to like manage anybody. Once this
Mhm.
is done, we can start testing the app. The next thing you will do is you will tell the testers what to check, right?
Mhm.
So let me give you an example.
Mhm.
This is our test. We're telling the testers to log into the app and then click certain things and then to check our API token, right? So you can actually do very technical things, ask the testers to do very technical things, or you can ask the testers to do something very simple like log in with this information, right? So
Mhm.
all of our directions are in plain English language, so you can have anybody do it. Basically, you can have an intern or anybody that can write in English do it. So it's an action. You're telling them, hey, perform these actions, and then a question. Are you Do you get this result, right?
I have a question here. If do you see a login Instagram login with email, and those are look a bunch of like I don't know what is the coding stuff. Do I have to
Yep.
write like that, or I write in human language?
You can write in human language. Those are variables that we include for you. So if you want
Okay,
to create like random inbox, random name, you can see here, it
I
pops out
see.
here. Yeah, you can put random address so that you don't actually have to figure out random stuff, random time. You can also give us a Excel file, for example,
Mm-hmm.
of variables that you want us to put in, and we
Mm-hmm.
can just put it in here, right? Whenever you
Okay.
want. So, for example, for fertility, maybe it's the date that a woman has goes through their cycle or whatever it might be, right? So you can
Mm-hmm.
put in any information. You can put in images here. You can put in different files here and have the testers check.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, you can ask them to do basically anything you want.
Okay, I see. So this is your portal. Like
Yeah.
we can't log into this, right? You are running the test. You guys are running the test or do
No,
you
you
know?
are running. You are running the test.
Oh, I
This is
see.
what this would be your portal if you had a account.
Oh, I see. So I see. I saw like you can choose between like app testing or like website testing, and I wonder if there a price like additional price if I add more testing, or this is just like that's it. We can do whatever we want
Yeah, yeah,
once we get the portal.
yep. Once you get the portal, basically it is like the amount of testing you do is based on how much it will cost. So the more testing you do, obviously, because we have to pay our testers too, we it costs
Oh,
more, right?
I
But
see.
you would get the software to use however you want and write these tests
Hmm.
however you want.
Okay, I see.
Yep.
Hmm.
Once you have this and then you're ready, you just basically click the devices you want to run. So you can see we have some Android phones, some iOS, 6, and we have 7s as well. So once you're ready, tablet. So once you're ready, you just click, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then if you're ready, you just click run, and then the test runs. And then in about 30 minutes, the test returns with all of the results.
Mm,
So
okay,
let
I
me
see.
show you the results. So this is our own internal results. So these are results that we run ourselves. So for example, this is actually running right now. We run this test every time.
Hmm.
Basically, we create a new feature and we run, you can see at all times of the day. So 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. through to 1 a.m. and then 1 p.m. or whatever, right? You can see
Mm,
that the results, all of them, if you look at duration, are all under, I would say, most of the time it's under 30 minutes. So it's,
pretty
11
much
minutes from
real time. Yeah.
real time, and it's
Yeah.
from the time you click it off to the time you return it, you get the results immediately. And the reason we do this and the reason why we focus so much on speed
Mhm.
is if I go back to this slide right here, this process, building
Mhm.
MVP and testing right
Mhm.
here. This back and forth takes a lot of time.
Mhm.
And so the longer you wait for this, the longer the
Mhm.
app takes to fill up. Because if you wait, you build MVP, you do testing, and then a week later, you go back to the developers and say, hey, fix these things. Sometimes they're
Mm.
like, oh, wait, like they probably number one, it's hard for them to go back and they totally forgot what they actually built. They have to go back into the code. It's complicated versus this. What we're doing is immediately after they build it, they can get a result saying this is where you're wrong. So they're right there, they can fix it. So that this iteration process, which is a lot of the bottleneck, a lot of the slow process gets cut down so that you can push your app out very quick, much quicker, and you can meet deadlines much quicker. Because some folks I speak with, they do testing takes like a week or a day for them, right? And so
Mhm.
when they have to meet deadlines, it's like, okay, I build the app. For example, let's say they want to release something in a month. They build it, it's a month, and then they have to spend like another month testing. So they're actually, they miss deadline, and that for some of these companies, it's a huge deal, right? So
Mhm.
that's why we focus so much on speed, and that's why we built this the way it did to focus in on getting results very quickly back.
Mm, that makes sense. Yeah, I
Yep.
see.
And that, I mean, that could be important from what you guys are working on. It could not, but this is where we're focused on. And uh, yeah, those are, let me show you the results that you get back and actually
Mhm.
how it looks like. So this is our Android phones. So we actually test across our Android devices. And if you walk into the device results, you click in, you can see that, hey, these are the tests that we ran, 6 tests
Mhm.
across these different Android phones, and then every one of these we actually send new testers too. So if you look in here, if you click inside here, it actually shows the testers that we sent, and it actually shows a screenshot of what the tester saw. So for example, down here, uh, this is exactly what the tester saw. If I click inside here, we have
Mhm.
their mouse scroll, their click, their touch scroll. So where did it initially touch
Oh, I
inside
see.
the scroll? So this is how we reproduce. And then look
Mm.
here, down here, we have a video and then logs, device logs.
I
So
see.
these device logs are how developers actually use what they use to figure out what went wrong, because the biggest problem with finding bugs is actually how to reproduce the bugs, right? It's
Mm.
sometimes it's finding bugs, it's easy, but then you find it and then you take it to somebody's like, oh, you have this bug, and they try to figure it out. They can't reproduce it. So this is how we reproduce the bugs. You get everything the testers were able to do on their phone, and this is the advantage of virtual machines essentially.
Mhm.
Emulators is we record everything. You have a video of exactly what they do. You have a log of what they do. You have tracking of exactly what they do. And so this is the data that we gather. So all of these scrolls and clicks, we basically compare it to other people's scrolls and clicks, right? And then we're able to say, hey, did this person actually do it or do this step or not? And that's how we maintain quality and results very quickly.
Mhm.
Yep. Uh, and yeah, it's the same across. This is Android. Let me actually show you a fail test, actually how a fail test actually looks like. So I think that will be interesting. So this is check that Flash works, right? This is a test that we're asking to see if Flash works. And so Flash works for some of these browsers, but not
Mhm.
others, right? And so if I click into, like, say, Firefox for Microsoft, it says it doesn't work. And if you look, we sent 3 testers. All of these testers basically said they have a comment. When it fails, we ask them to get a comment, and the comment is, hey, there's no animation, verify that Flash is installed. Here's the video. And so if you look, all of the comments say the same
Mm.
thing, can't see animation, can't see animation. And
I
so
see.
this is how we give back results. We give
Okay.
back results, and then we can integrate this into, it depends on if your developers are using like Jira or Slack to keep track of bugs, but we can directly send these results to them through that, so they don't actually have to come in here and play with it inside here.
I see.
Yep. So I think that's the entire thing. I didn't want to keep this. This is a lot of information, I know. I think
Yeah, which is good.
main
Yeah.
thing, the main thing you can think about us is there's a lot of players in this space.
Yeah.
Everybody does something different. The main way we're approaching this is we're trying to automate everything. We're trying to make everything into a software and as easy as possible, right? So
Mhm.
it's software. We are a software company that basically just automates QA so that you don't actually have to worry about it. And there are outsourcing solutions that you can work with that have people doing it, and they're probably less costly. But the trade-off is they're it takes a longer time for them to do it. There's also other solutions sort of like this, like crowdsourced testing, but they use real devices instead of virtual machines, right? So they're of similar cost, but they're not as fast as well. Uh, and there's also, you can actually hire QA people to do in-house testing if you want to, right? So there's all of these options you can think about, and there's trade-offs and advantages to each of them. And the advantage for us is speed and re being able to record everything and the reliability of results.
Okay, I see. So, actually, that helps a lot. Yeah. So, I want to know like your price model actually.
Mhm. Okay, let me pull this up. Price. So we have annual contracts,
Yeah.
right? And so our contracts start from the starter package and then it moves up. Starter package is 5,000 a month, and you
Mm-hmm.
get access to the platform, and then you get a monthly limit. So 6,500 tests essentially. And then professional, you get more features, and then 14,000 tests, right? So for where you guys are at, the amount of testing you are like this starter package essentially is equivalent to about 3 full-time testers, QA
Mm-hmm.
testers. So this is probably where you would be if you were to
Mm.
start. Yeah,
Okay, I see.
yeah,
So is we're gonna start as a starter
right,
actually. Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason why I actually mentioned if you did QA on your website is because
Mm-hmm.
just mobile testing, you're probably not gonna hit this number, right? This is actually a lot of
Yeah,
testing. So we could probably do both web testing and mobile testing for you and just
the same
help you
price.
do, yeah, it's the same thing, right? So you can use it to test as many things as you want. So this
So
is
so
probably where you want to be.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's like as many tests as you want. With so, for example, we have two websites we're planning to run tests. One is the like our main website, healthcare-manager. One is the website associated with the app. So can we do that as well at the same price?
Yeah, yeah, you can add as many sites as you want as long as you uh, make sure to hit under this limit. This is like the number of tests, and yeah, you would be able to hit this uh, under this no problem because this is actually a lot of tests. So you can essentially have two sites and then run your app all at the same time on this starter package.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see. So it's like is there like a limitation of like how many mobile apps and how many websites and can we run under this price?
No, no limitations.
Oh, okay. No limitation. But I remember you mentioned that if we run too many tests, you guys are gonna charge us additional.
That's the number of tests, not the number of sites. So this is the number of tests.
Oh,
Do you know?
yeah.
Do you
So
know what I mean? Yeah,
oh, I see, I see. So how many tests
yeah.
do you suggest us to run, which is within the coverage of your the map?
Uh, Within the coverage, I think for you guys, because if you think about your website, if you think about well, both of your website and for your apps for Android and iOS, right? I'm not sure. I would